Hi everyone, before this video starts, I want to remind you that I currently have the Hoagland & Sons Mark II chronograph, which I designed for sale. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. This is the kind of sequel to the watch that I designed as part of a successful Kickstarter campaign in 2019. I think you'll all be very interested in this watch. It has been an absolute joy to create. Again, check out the link in the description and we'll resume the rest of the video.
Hi guys, this is Zach from Watches on You, and now we're going to get into the review of the new Omega Seamaster 007 edition. So, there are currently two Bond Omega Seamasters that Omega makes. One of them is based on the normal new wave dial Seamaster versus this is the one that's actually used in the movie, which Daniel Craig apparently helped design this watch in collaboration with Omega. So this is the one that has been very hot ever since its release. They're just kind of starting to be able to be found in cases, and you're still not really going to find any of the bracelet ones in cases. It's been super popular and for obvious reasons. So this kind of takes a kind of a vintage take on the modern Seamaster, but in a way that I think is very well done and tasteful. The changes brought to this watch include having a no-date dial, which I personally really like. I just love the symmetry of no-date dials, and I think the Seamaster especially looks absolutely amazing with the no-date dial. In addition, you have an aluminum bezel instead of the standard ceramic, which just kind of, again, gives this watch a little bit more of a vintage charm. You can definitely tell when you hold this watch that there's something different with the bezel, and I think it's a very good addition to this, as on a Seamaster at least, I had one for a while. The bezel isn't necessarily something that will get scratched that often, at least in my use, so I don't really see a huge downside of having an aluminum instead of a ceramic bezel insert. You also have a massively domed crystal, which I really like. It's still sapphire crystal. It's not Hesalite, so you'll still get the scratch resistance of sapphire. But it gives you this really vintage-inspired doming effect, which I very much like on this. And you can definitely see it if I'm just holding the watch. You can see how the light kind of curves around it, and it gives it, again, a kind of more warm, I guess, look to the watch. Gives it a little more character. The dial also has a smooth dial, which I'm sure many of you will appreciate, as the wave dial was very polarizing for people. Some either loved it and others absolutely hated it. So this one is giving you the standard flat dial. So for the people that didn't like the wave dial, they have an option as well. And you can see also that you do have patina, faux patina on all the indexes and the bezel itself. I'm not going to get into whether that's good or bad. That's really a personal preference. I think it looks really nice, and I love the red accent, having the Seamaster put in red, and also the triangular military designation on the dial of this timepiece. Again, kind of adds to that kind of rough vintage military, I guess, theme of this watch. So let's get into the case of this watch. So it's a 42 millimeter titanium case this time. It is fully brushed, or it's kind of in between a brushing and kind of a sandblasting. It looks like it's very well done. I would say it's a brushing. And the titanium just kind of has a more toned down color to it, as titanium usually does. It's not quite as bright as stainless steel, giving it a bit of more of a tougher look there as well. And just having the brushing all around really contributes to the central theme of this watch. In the 42 millimeter size, I will say that's the same size as the standard Seamaster. It's a great size for this watch, and I think I have no issues with that. You get this same helium escape valve as well on the left side of this timepiece. It's a manual helium escape valve. Unscrew it to activate it. It just comes out a little bit, and then screw it back in to deactivate it. So the movement in this watch is going to be the Omega Caliber 8806. It's essentially a no-date version of the automatic movement. So it's going to get you the same 55 power reserve. You're going to be self-winding as well, the same magnetic resistance, 15,000 Gauss. And it's going to perform exactly the same as the standard Seamaster movement minus the date. So now you don't get so going off of the movement, you don't get a see-through case back on this watch. You do just get a solid case back. However, it does have some interesting markings on it. You can see it, so, excuse for the sticker, but you can see it has the same triangular military designation, and then it has also kind of the model number and then the edition number as well. And then it has the standard diver 300 meters water resistance 007 on the case back. And the case back is titanium as well. So now let's try this watch on the wrist. Just gonna put this NATO strap back. So this is available on 2 straps, I'll say. You can get it on the NATO strap or you can get it on the bracelet. I believe you can also configure it on Omega's website if you would like a different strap for this watch. But those are the 2 base options for this timepiece. So I'm just gonna put it on my wrist here. Here we go. So on the wrist, very comfortable. Omega's NATO straps are extremely comfortable. I've never had any discomfort when wearing one. They're just really some of the most high quality NATO straps you can get out there. So there's no issues at all with comfort on this watch. And then the size of this as well, I have about a 7.5-inch wrist for reference. The 42 millimeter size, I'd say, fits me great. I think it's gonna fit most people great. I would almost say if a 40 millimeter dive watch fits on your wrist, this will be just fine as well. I don't find the Seamasters wearing really any bigger than like a Submariner. I think they wear roughly the same. So just take that also for a reference point. The thickness, I think, is fine on this watch. I believe the case itself has a thickness of roughly 13 millimeters, and then the strap is going to add some more. So if you want to thin it down, you can see you can actually thin it down quite a bit by changing the strap on this watch. Or something I really like to do, now this is really up to you, is I really like to actually, on a lot of my NATO straps, to cut off the under strap. And then you can reduce the thickness quite a bit when you're wearing a NATO strap. So I like to sometimes cut off this piece here, but that's something you would have to do on your own, whether you would prefer that or not. So now getting into pricing for this watch comes in at $8,100, which is a lot more than the standard Seamaster, as the standard Seamaster comes in around $5,500. So whether that's worth it or not, that's really up to you. I really like the design changes on this watch. This is going to be a lot more limited in production numbers than the standard Seamaster, and it's going to be more unique for sure. You get the aspect that it's used in the James Bond movie, and you get the titanium case, which just makes it lighter, a bit more durable. So it's really up to you whether that massive price gap is worth it or not. So I'll just leave it at that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this watch, whether you would get this watch over the standard Seamaster if you had the choice and were looking for this. I'm really interested to see what you guys think of this watch. So I would like to thank Continental Diamond for lending this watch for the purpose of this review. Thank you for watching.